Now, Mercedes' performance at the Bahrain Grand Prix completely destroyed any expectations that the Brackley team would be able to compete with Red Bull for the victory, despite the fact that many were expecting them to return to their usual front-running pace this season. So what do the drivers and team management say about their Bahrain struggles? How is Mercedes planning to improve now that they know where they are? And is it all over for their 2023 hopes? Join us and watch until the end of the video to find out. Mercedes went into the new season adamant about sticking to their design philosophy, including the zero pods, but one race in and there's already talk of changing the concept. While Lewis Hamilton stated after Friday's practice that it would be difficult for Mercedes to close the gap to Red Bull with the concept they currently have, team principal Toto Wolff asserted after qualifying that they would need to sit down and decide which development path they want to take in order to win races. Because winning the Bahrain Grand Prix on Sunday was definitely not on the cards. Hamilton finished 5th, 50 seconds behind race winner Max Verstappen, with teammate George Russell 7th, another 5 seconds back. During the race, both drivers found themselves losing positions to Alonso in the Aston Martin, with the Spaniard demonstrating his car's superior race pace as he dueled and beat the Mercedes teammates. Wolff claims it was a race result that caused him pain. One of the worst days of racing, really not good at all. We were just lacking pace and that's a reflection of the test. The Aston Martin is very fast, they deserve that, and Red Bull is just on a different planet. That is what hurts because they're so far ahead. It reminds me of the days when we put the second on everybody. That's the benchmark, but we need to put one step after the other to just come back, and then we can do that. When asked if that was still possible at this point, he insisted that the team had what it took. But according to the Austrian, Mercedes can't wait for their planned Imola update because they need to take much more drastic steps than simply hoping that the package will propel them to the front. According to Wolff, Mercedes could also learn a thing or two from Aston Martin's AMR23. While the car has been referred to as a green Red Bull, it's powered by Mercedes and features the same pull rod suspension layout as the W14. The silver arrows also supply the gearbox. "I think it's just radical," Wolff said of the 2023 Aston Martin. "As I said, they deserve to be where they are because they did a fantastic job. The good news for us is there's a lot of Mercedes in there, so we know exactly where to pinpoint it." The reigning world champion Max Verstappen raced unopposed to victory in Bahrain, converting his pole position into a race win. On a day when no team other than Red Bull led a lap, only Sergio Perez could briefly take the lead when Verstappen made his first pit stop of the night before finishing P2. Now, more concerning than the 1-2 was the dominant manner in which it was achieved, with Verstappen 11 seconds ahead of Perez, who was nearly half a minute ahead of third place Fernando Alonso. All of this led George Russell to make an unnerving prediction for the season, with the Brit essentially raising the white flag on the possibility of anyone challenging Red Bull for the title. "Red Bull has got this championship sewn up. I don't think anyone is going to be fighting with them this year," Russell said to the media. "I expect them to win. They should win every single race this season. That's my bet. I'd say so because with the performance they've got, I don't see anyone challenging them. Their pace seems weaker this weekend than it was in testing, which was a bit strange, but they've got it easy at the moment and they can do what they like. They might not get on pole all of the time because we know that Ferrari are very competitive in qualifying, but when it comes to race pace, I think they're in a very strong position." Now, Russell had to settle for 7th place after being passed by both Aston Martin drivers during the race. He believes Mercedes is paying the price for a lack of downforce, but unlike Wolff, he's not convinced that a radical concept change is required. "We've always had some different concepts in the background," he said. "But the reason we've seen this skinny concept is because we still believe that it's best. And to be honest, I still believe that it's not going to transform our performance if we came next week with a Red Bull style side pod. I don't think that's going to, suddenly find a spot. I think the magic is done on the floor and other parts of the car that we've seen." He went on to say that more information is needed before Mercedes can make an informed decision about the future of the W14 design and beyond. Russell also cited the gains they made last year, claiming there's no reason they can't do it again. Above all, Russell has tried to remain rather optimistic in the face of these challenges, and Hamilton has done the same. "I've just got to try and stay positive, keep my head up and keep pushing the guys," said Hamilton after the race. "Keep trying to be a positive light for them and get the best points I can." Now, even though it may seem foolish to focus on the positive when it's obvious that the team is not nearly as competitive as they would like to be, there was at least a glimmer of hope in Bahrain. Not a bright one, admittedly, but at least something. Changes made overnight led to a significant improvement after the pair struggled on Friday for both single lap and long run pace, which at least allowed the duo to qualify 6th and 7th. Both drivers worried that qualifying would be harder because they ran the risk of falling victim to the midfield group snares. However, those adjustments at least made sure that Mercedes could maintain its position at the front of the field despite being the slowest team of the four that made it up, and allayed Hamilton's worst fears of not even making it to Q3. That, combined with expectations that the car will be stronger on different tracks, is all Mercedes has to cling on to after a chastening weekend. While the team also experimented with the testing specification rear wing in practice, both drivers continued to run the new lower downforce rear wing, with Hamilton describing the gains as being an improved balance. Although he anticipates that this will continue to have a detrimental effect on tyre management in races going forward, Hamilton felt that the car had improved in terms of the rear instability and traction limitation that were noticeable during testing. The Brit driver did, however, find the car to be more to his taste in FP3 than in qualifying, which led some to speculate that he had chosen a compromise setup that slightly favours the race over single lap pace. Russell, meanwhile, emphasised the increased emphasis on race performance and added that Saturday went better than he had anticipated after Friday's practice. He highlighted how crucial it is that the Mercedes W14 is a better overall package to work with than the car from last year, which had issues with porpoising and bouncing. Mercedes at least has a foundation to build upon, even though its potential may be debatable in the long run, which is why Toto Wolff stated that the team must look into new ideas. The secret for Hamilton and Russell is to make sure they bank respectable points over the next races and limit the damage, while Mercedes searches for the right direction with its car concept to unlock race-winning performances. And although Wolff may have refrained from completely writing off the team's title hopes, it's obvious that it will take longer than a few races for Mercedes to turn its car into a contender on merit. Motor racing is crazy, he said when asked about Hamilton's hopes of fighting for a record 8th driver's title. I don't know what's going to happen this year. We may find a silver bullet next week and unlock 5 tenths in the car. I haven't seen any silver bullets before, but you never know. But definitely mid-term and long-term, we just need to have a car that is able to make us fight for an 8th championship. So, what do you think about Mercedes' Bahrain performance? Is this already the end for their 2023 title hopes? Give us your opinions in the comment section down below.